Welcome to this week's edition of Outdoors Online, a weekly webcast produced by the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. I'm your host, Tom Jensen. My guest this week is Game and Fish Deputy Director Scott Peterson. We're going to talk about the upcoming advisory board meetings. They are scheduled here just a couple of weeks. Scott, let's start off, tell everybody what the advisory board meetings actually are.
Well, first of all, Tom, by state law, there are 8 advisory board districts set up throughout North Dakota, and each district, of course, has an advisory board member.
They're appointed by
the governor.
Okay.
Yep, and the meetings themselves are intended to be an open forum for our constituents, primarily the hunters and fishermen of the state, to voice some concerns, to give us some input on some of those issues that are out there in their communities, and provide us with some ideas of possibly improving those.
And that's basically why the legislature mandated it, to give people a voice.
Right, that's right. And the advisory board members are really set up to be a liaison between sportsmen and the department.
How do you come up with the topics for each advisory board meeting?
Well, the topics generally, Tom, are generated, first of all, we want them to be timely and pertinent. And so a lot of times they're just issues of the day. For instance, these upcoming advisory board meetings, we're going to talk about, one of the things we're going to talk about is zebra mussels, or ANS, aquatic nuisance species.
Right.
And of course that's timely because with the recent discovery of zebra mussels in the Red River, we thought it was time to talk about it with the public and get some ideas on possibly how we can prevent that spread of zebra mussels into other state fishing waters.
I know that generally we time the meetings so they come directly after deer season. And we do that on purpose, right?
Right. One of the things that you can always count on of generating a lot of discussion at these meetings is deer hunting and deer management, issues. And yeah, that's one of the other things on the agenda. We just are in the process of developing our 5-year deer management goals. And so we want to get that discussion going with our constituents as well and let them know what we're thinking, how those numbers are generated, and it also kind of sets the stage for the next 5 years in terms of what we're likely going to be doing with deer numbers based on what we know today. Of course, climatic conditions change and that will dictate a lot of things, but it's important that our constituents get an input into that so they know what we're thinking.
This is a great forum for just the average outdoors man or woman to bring their issues out to us.
First of all, I want to say that the agenda is a very loose agenda. We're very flexible on changing topics, but we typically try to reserve the first hour for topics that are generated by the audience. We always set a few items or a few discussion topics that we want to get out there, but we always leave plenty of time for those topics that may not be on our agenda that the sportsmen and women would like to talk about as well.
What topics are we bringing to the table for this round of meetings?
We're going to talk about, there's 4 topics. We want to talk a little bit about mountain lion management, where we're at in the state as of today. Deer management goals, of course. Again, we want to get those out there. We're going to talk a little bit about aquatic nuisance species, again, which is very pertinent given the recent discovery of zebra mussels in the Red River. And then the other thing is we want to talk a little bit about the fishing proclamation changes because our current fishing proclamation is due to expire the 1st of April of 2016. So we're going to be tweaking that a little bit, and we want to get those changes out to the public as well.
After the session, or the basic session where we go over our topics, question and answer period, and we always get some very interesting questions.
Yeah, there usually is no shortage of topics again, and we know typically again right after deer season we're going to have some comments about deer seasons, see how it went. Some people are going to be really tickled at how it went, and others are going to have some concerns. They always do, and of course we take all of those suggestions very seriously, and some of them have been implemented over the years, and so there's some good questions and some very good ideas out there that we get from our sporting public.
Right, and the questions don't necessarily have to be a strict topic related. Anything could be a deer hunting question.
Right,
could be anything. Right?
It's open, and we'll entertain any and all questions or comments.
All right, Scott, thanks.
You bet.
As Scott mentioned, there are 8 advisory board districts spread out across the state, and a meeting will be held in each district. Here are the dates, times, and places for each advisory board meeting. If you have something on your mind you want to talk to Game and Fish representatives about, attend a meeting near you and speak up. For Deputy Director Scott Peterson and the rest of the staff here at North Dakota Game and Fish, thanks for joining us for Outdoors Online. We'll see you again next week.